So I want to just jump in tonight to the scripture we're going to be in. I did not line this up for Mother's Day, but I'm really thankful for how the Holy Spirit lined it up. And it's in Luke chapter 7. If you have a Bible with you, you take notes, that kind of thing. We're going to kind of jump into it right now. Soon afterward, Jesus went to a town called NAZ. In fact, soon afterward means the next day. Literally means the next day. So the day before, he did a huge miracle in the life of a centurion's family. Okay? And the very next day, he went to a town called NAZ. And his disciples and a great crowd went with him. As he drew near to the gate of the town, behold, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of his mother. She was a widow, and a considerable crowd from the town was with her. Now, with him, can we get a sense of who's with Jesus here? And we're going to, it's small, so I'm going to totally do more of a group discussion thing on that, right? Okay? So, Jesus is going to name who's with him. So let's break down. Who are his disciples? Do you remember from Luke 6? Who is the? I'm not asking you to name them all, but do you remember the different makeup of that group, the disciples? Remember? Okay, there's the 12. That's a part of that group. The 12 were chosen as the 12, and then they were named. You remember what they were named? Apostles. They were named apostles. Okay? Now, they were called out of a greater group. They were all disciples too. You remember this? So when it says his disciples, you need to not just think the 12. You need to think about this greater group as well. Now, what was different about the greater group when compared to the 12? We're going to, and quickly if we can, let's just keep some good ideas going and I'll bounce off whatever we got to work with.
The 12 were specifically called to follow. Whereas I assume the greater group was just interested more or less.
Raquel. Yeah, when Jesus would say, hey, y'all come here, the big group would come. They would come. But the 12 he knew were his. They were his in the ancient rabbi way. Okay? They were his 12. They went where he went. They ate when he ate. They slept when he slept. They were going to live with him and be with him on the road. But there's now a third crowd there. So you got the 12. You got the big disciples group. First the 12, then the bigger disciples group. And then what else do you got? A great crowd. That's new. We didn't have that in Luke chapter 6. Now we have a great crowd. So who do you think is in the great crowd? If the disciples are responding to Jesus and they want to hear him teach, the 12 are living with Jesus and they want to do whatever he says, then who's in the great crowd? Who is everybody else?
I think people with just an insanely piqued interest. It's like when you pick up Twitter followers. Like, well, they probably really don't care, but they know that like maybe something's worth watching here.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Well, I'm trying to break down the Twitter analogy in my head right now because I'm trying to think, is that enough?
It's like when you say something very popular and it gets picked up by like 50 people all of a sudden, but like they'll drop off eventually. Potentially.
Yeah, it's like a Facebook post.
Yeah, it's like a Facebook post.
I was reading the other day that celebrities purposely try to take pictures of themselves in ways where no one can tell where they are. Because there's whole crowds of people that will analyze those pictures and try to get where they are. But I would say that those would fall, this is a very crude analogy, but that would fall into the great group of disciples camp, right? I think the large crowd is piqued interest. I like that. Maybe even enemies, potential enemies in a large crowd, right? Which he has been making from town to town as he's gone to every synagogue. But can you just get your mind around this? Here comes Jesus. Here's the 12. Here's the crowd of disciples. There's also another great crowd. And then check this out. As he drew near to the gate of the town. So he's just about to enter the town. I think that's a great visual image. He's about to enter through the gate of the town. When I think of the gate of the town, because I didn't live in the 1st century, but I read all the Lord of the Rings books multiple times. I always think of when when Frodo and his cousins are all going into Buckleberry, and they're about to try to get to the inn, because they got to get to the inn, because Gandalf told them to go to the inn. And there's this huge gate that they got to come to, and everything out the gate protects you from outside. And so Jesus is going into the town, and this dead man is coming out and being carried out of the town. And so what is if you kind of look at it from a metaphoric image, it's like the town is giving birth to this dead man. And Jesus is coming to invade the town where the dead come from. You kind of see those two crossing paths there. I know I'm jumping the metaphor a little early, but I feel like Luke sets that up. As he drew near to the gate of the town, behold, a man who would die was being carried out. That's right there in the Greek. As he drew near, a man being carried out. The only son of his mother. And she was a widow, and a considerable crowd from the town was with her. Crowd number 4. So you got this great crowd who are Twitter followers coming with him the name, right? You got the disciples who've been following him for a while. You got the 12 who now live with him. But there's this great crowd, and these two crowds are about to collide right at the gate of the town. Isn't that an awesome picture? When I first read this, I mean, there's a lot of passages. Months ago, I've been looking through Luke. I've read it multiple times. I did it with Jeremiah during LTG. And I started to pick out where God was taking me with these different chunks. And I knew I was going to teach on this. But it was for different reasons. Like, the more I think about it as almost like a movie, the more clearly I can see this. And I love the image. So I want to go to the next one here. And I want to talk a little bit about what happens when you live in a culture of death. And I'm not saying name is the culture of death. I'm not trying to judge name right now. But here come these people with this widow whose only son has died. All right? There's a great crowd with her. And they are all rocked right now. And especially she has to be rocked because she's a widow as well. So this isn't the first time she's experienced death in her immediate family. One reason why I think we feel despair, and I'm getting really deep really fast, so I'm going to ask you just to trust me for a second and be at peace. A lot of this is even repetition from previous sermons from the last 6 months. We touched on these notes, but I felt led to bring it back up. One of the reasons why we feel despair is we live for the wrong happiness. I remember my 4 happiness message. Happiness number 1 is satisfying appetite. When you get to eat something that's really good, when you drink something that satisfies your thirst, it does make you happy. I'm not talking about joy. I'm talking about that momentary happiness, right? That moment of happiness can lead you to say, I want to feel that again. I want to feel that again. I want to feel that again. And we all have struggled with that at some point in our lives, even if it was just when we were little kids. Something that satisfies our appetite. The analogy I bring up often is sexual relationships and how we can view those things through an appetite-driven perspective. And that can destroy us because we're deconstructing it. It's kind of like sampling, which is always one of my favorite metaphors. You got a 28-minute long symphony where there's this beautiful moment. There's all these dark and negative and minor scale moments that lead up to this explosion of celebration. But in pop music goes straight to the explosion of celebration. And then even will sample only 4 or 8 bars out of that explosion, loop it, and that's kind of what we do, right? We take this idea out of happiness 1, the feel good, and we take it even out of nutrition. A good friend of mine was talking about how he's been working out and eating right, and how it's changed his life. And it's a kind of a personal story for him, but it made me think of, so that's why I'm not going to get into more detail, but it made me think of someone I can't talk about, which is my cousins Brian and Nora. They're married. He's my birth cousin, and she's, I guess, cousin by marriage. I guess that works, doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for shooting down. Appreciate that. Always depend on you for the truth. So we have others disagreeing in here about this. So anyway, Nora has lost over 135 pounds, 180 pounds. Eating right. She did not get staple surgery. She did not go extreme. Nothing wrong with staple surgery. I'm not hating on that. I'm just saying she didn't have some invasive thing. She took it step by step by step by step by step, and it changed her life. The result is these guys are so alive right now, you know. I would argue that when you see somebody who loses weight or gets in great shape, we've seen it in our own church family. I mean, Raquel, I always think about your amazing story. When you said, how much trying to walk that half marathon? And you ran 7 miles of that half marathon. And I have a picture of you running, and you look like you're chasing down, you know, like that villain in the really bad Superman movie, and you're going to destroy him forever, you know. Like, there is power in that because you stop sampling out the pleasure from eating. and turning eating into a comfort thing. You're looking at it as it connects to your bio, psycho, social, spiritual life, every aspect of your life, right? There's also two other levels of happiness that we can live for that are just wrong. The second level of happiness is when you get that discipline, your mind controls your will, but then you become, I guess the stereotypical analogy would be, you do really get in good shape, and then you really start digging your good shape, and you try to celebrity model yourself on Facebook, or you are focused on your image all the time, or you literally will not go out or talk to certain people if you don't feel like you're communicating the image that you want. And that's that competition mindset that American culture is built on. You have to compete. Hey, come on, guys, you have to compete. They're hanging in the back right there. We're watching a little show, I think. Love Jim. Good to see buddy. Hey, Zoe. They're competing. You heard the legends, yeah. I told you they're back there. They're in the cubby hole. They're competing. They eat up their competition. And that breeds unhealthiness. The final thing, aspect of unhealthiness, is when we see that there's great value in loving others in and of itself. Pastors get that with people that they're working with. Teachers get that with their students. Doctors get that with their patients. But there's a huge level of unhappiness with that as well, because you can build your meaning in life, your identity. I mean, think of all the stories you told me about the people you already rocked your Home Depot. You rocked them. But the reason why you have rocked them is because you live in Home Depot out of the overflow of your life, which comes out of your relationship with Jesus. But what if you flipped that? What if you started rocking people at Home Depot and lived for rocking them? And when you went to work, you were dependent on whether or not they would respond, whether or not you connected. And nobody connected that day. So you come back the next day, need more, going in. That's unhappiness 3. Because it's turning a relationship that's into something like a delivery device for God. But that relationship cannot give you God. Only God can give you God. And so, I'm going to take back the widow now, all right? The widow could be experiencing severe unhappiness. One widow in the first century, how's she going to support herself? Or is she going to get food to eat or to drink? Right? It may not be a perversion of happiness one. She may not have it. You follow me? Second, your mind controls your will with happiness too. When you succeed, grow, and educate, get to the next level. What's a widow going to do? I read multiple commentaries and scholars who would argue to the teeth that most likely her entire town blamed her for some secret sin for the death of her husband and her son. And I said to you right now, you know that rings true. Probably that was the case, and she dealt with that. And we got people like that in our culture, you know, who have lost out and then taken on this negative view from their own actions. No. From accusations that others have put on them. That's an aspect of the competition culture. Mama Love always says, if you only tear somebody else down, lift yourself up. That's why you're putting shade on other people all the time. And why they're putting shade on you. That's unhappiness 2. Finally, unhappiness 3. What if that widow lived literally for her son? Lived for her son. And the son's dead. What impact is that going to have personally? Not a rhetorical question. Love your response to that. She lives for her son. Lives for her son. And her son's saved. What impact would that have personally?
She's not really motivated. Frankly, she probably has no hope of anybody ever taking care of her. Because she was a woman. So her only hope was that she had a son who could inherit whatever she had inherited from her husband, and now she doesn't even have that. So she's going to lose everything.
There's a second idea here. Sometimes we despair because we are frankly rejected or condemned by our community. I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier. But if there is a negative attitude towards this widow that blames her for the death, you already know how Jesus feels about that. He's gone in to all these synagogues and proclaimed that the PCBO is his focus. That he wants to lift up the weak, the poor, the broken, and not push them down, push them into their place. the truth is that, man, we got a lot of folks who aren't even widows. They have been rejected by the I got some stuff I'm going to read you a little bit later, some studies I'm researching. And it's a small group tonight, so I'm just going to kind of break through the wall a little bit. Many of you know that we had a suicide in the church community, the lives of Barbara and Dave, dear friends of ours. And I just tell them, man, I've been researching suicide for 20 years among millennials. And I got to tell you, what I'm nervous about, one of the things I always come nervous a little bit, is I don't think I'm going to make any breakthroughs when it comes to suicide tonight, okay? I don't have any like deep breakthroughs or answers, right? But what I'm researching and the way rejection and condemnation can work in community today is more satanic and awesome in its scale and scope than it has ever been in history. And I've got the facts to prove it. Some of you have experienced this. Some of you have experienced it online, you've experienced it in your own family groups, you've experienced it at work, you've experienced it in different circles, you've been deep rejection. And some of you blame yourself for that rejection, and some of you don't. You know that you're innocent of it, or you think you're innocent of it. It's so complicated, man. It's so jacked up, so complicated. The third thing I think about is that we know that we share partial responsibility for their hurt. I guarantee you, in that widow's mind, even though she may feel like this community blames me for this, somewhere deep down, in any mother's heart, there's going to be that question. I blame his death. God, bring this on him. You know, how do you avoid it? You know, I have all these examples of this. Cindy came screaming into the house last night. Fell down her steps outside, you know, we got those crazy steps. We just had one of the deepest, wonderful conversations that we've had all week. About the Lord, about science's relationship with the Bible. She was bringing it all up. It was awesome. I was like floating on a cloud. I heard the screams come. And of course, what did I do? You tell me you've not put a light out there yet. You blown ahead, you took that rail down, you never put up another rail or replace it. That's what we do as parents. We immediately, sometimes when we're blaming ourselves, if we're not careful, and I'll put myself right out there. We'll lash out at the person that we've caused hurt to. Because their hurt is inconvenient for us. It can cause an instant reaction where we say, why did you do that? What are you thinking? Rather than this immediate reaction of shepherding love, hope, healing, whatever it is that you wish you would immediately react with in the moment. I know what those things are for me. So I want to share some of these facts with you. And there's no slide for this. So just going to go through it. And this is dark stuff, and we're doing it, guys. First thing is more adolescents, meaning millennials, die from suicide in the last 3 years from car accidents. Did you know that? More have died from suicide than car accidents. It's an astounding statistic. And one really nerdy car company is trying to spin this as car safety is better than ever. The numbers are better. The truth is that the numbers are better. But the statistical increase in suicides among adolescents and millennials and the generation that follows millennials is astronomical. In 2014, 425 young people between the ages of 10 to 14, that's the limits, not even going above 14, took their own lives. 425 compared to 384 died as a result of car accidents. The data is mind-blowing, and one expert writes this: it is clear to me that the question of suicidal thoughts and behavior in this age group has certainly come up far more frequently in the last decade than it had in the previous decade. Now that may sound like Dr. Phil obvious right there, but the truth is it's not really obvious. If the thought of suicide is coming up more readily, and we can actually track that it's basically these young people consider it as an option more quickly than people ever happened before. That's a stunning fact. Think about that, guys. It's a heartbreaking and stunning fact. That was Marsha Levy Warren, who's a top clinical psychologist in New York. And she works primarily with adolescents. She goes on to say this: cultural norms have changed tremendously from 20 years ago. You know, and what's she getting at? Well, her social media is what she's getting at. She breaks all that down. I'm not going to go through all her stats on social media. But guess what times of year are the biggest times of year for suicide among adolescents? There's 4 seasons. Guess which ones are the worst?
Winter?
Nope.
Summer?
Nope.
Spring.
Spring and fall. Why? The beginning of school, when your story for the whole year is being framed, and these teachers who are teaching right now, being educated, they remind me so much of when I got my second master's degree from Northwest Nazarene University, because it's a master's in pastoral ministry, right? But I got 1 counseling class out of 3.5 years of classes. 1! And the rest was all theology. And I could not change the deck. And when I had to review my program, you better believe I wrote an explicitly, like, not explicit like in the music sense, but like a very clearly worded analysis of that program about how it left me needing more equipping, needing more help, you know. We had suicide in our church family. We had homelessness in our church family. We had severe sexual abuse in our church, in our small church family. We had all these things, and I wanted more help on how to deal with this. Remember, I got that master's while I was here. I started it 1.5 years before I came. Finished it 2 years after we got here. Another 2 years. I think teachers are dealing with that now. I think they're not as keyed into the fact that the way they begin a year used to be to look cross-eyed at a kid in a social situation. Wasn't that big a deal. It was putting that kid in a place within the classroom, right? But now that can become fodder that feeds into an online conversation. The way we think and the way we conversate has got to totally change. Then you get to the end of the year, where in traditional public schools, the social outings that kind of define your year, especially in middle school and high school, which goes outside of the age demographic here, but those things happen at that time. And if you end the year poorly, if you go into a summer of isolation and aloneness because everybody's got a bad taste in their mouth when they think about you, it is crushing for these young girls. And here's the stat that will blow your mind. More young boys are taking their lives. Their lives are not being used. And now by 10 or 20, listen to the stat. In 2014, 275 boys to 150 girls took their own life. There's something that's said that's sort of full of humiliating. It's not just the kid who said it that knows. It's the entire school or class. And it's a me, Levy Warren, thrice. In the past, if you made a misstep, there was a limited number of people who were alive. Right now, we have between 12 and 15 million, 10 to 14 psychotropic drugs. In fact, there's a huge, I'm skipping ahead of my notes, but there was a huge article. I read it right when you guys, I think when you guys were at Coachella when I read it, about Zofran and Prozac's impact on how pop music sounds. That's another one that's mentioned. Zofran and Zoloft. Sorry about that. That's why I shouldn't be skipping it in my notes. I got one more quote for you here. If anything, parents have to get better at recognizing the symptoms of depression, the lack of joy, the concentration problems, the isolated behaviors that occur. Historically, we've wrongfully thought that suicidality becomes an issue in adolescence. We haven't really looked at younger children so much. And now we know that that's not right. You can have kids under the age of 12, under the age of 10, thinking about attempting to read something like this. Last week, we got 8 kids sponsored, 9 kids, including my sponsored kid, in our church family. That was the right thing. That was a work of God. Listen to me, guys. That was God waking us up to the impact we can have. Now, I promised you a long time ago, I've repeated this over the years, and I'm right about this. Every time I give this to any pastor, coffee, mega church, small church, liturgical church, Pentecostal church, when I share this truth with a pastor, in any environment, boom, it breaks their hearts. Because it tears through one of the lies that has crippled the American church. And it's not from me, it's from Jesus. Man, Johnny, why should we care about those kids in Africa? When we got plenty of problems going on here. I say to that pastor, Jesus said, make disciples of all nations in all the earth. He sets a global vision. But then he said, begin in Judea, Samaria, and internationally. If you don't have a global vision when you start, you'll never have a healthy local vision. But if you think you have a healthy local vision and there's not a global component, I promise you, this is what I've said to pastors, you're thinking small locally. You're thinking about how to change this local environment, how to make it healthy, how to make it spiritually healthy. That's not your call. Your call is to see transformation happen in a local environment. That's thinking globally, because that's Jesus' call. Does that make sense? That's Jesus' call. That's why he was such a brilliant visionary and leader. Why his disciples all went to their graves. They knew, even though that happened in a specific community, and they have been martyred for their faith, that the impact will be global. Jesus audaciously praised exactly that in John 17, when he talks about people that would never hear his words while he was alive, but would only know Jesus through disciples who made disciples, who made disciples, who made disciples, who made disciples, who made disciples. I think our kids need a global vision. I disagree, which I said before, with Simon Sinek, who says that the millennials have been told they're too important. I like Simon Sinek a lot. Some of you guys are familiar with him. He's the guy who always says, you need to know what your why is. You need to know what your why is. It's a big cliche now in American culture. It's a great cliche with God. But I disagree. I think that millennials are they're not sitting around being told how impactful they're going to be. I don't think by almost anybody. I think there's like this sarcastic kind of like, well, of course you don't want to do anything we want, spirit. But I don't think there's the specific pouring into a millennials that says you were created divinely in the image of God to rise up and to change the world with the love and gospel and mission of Jesus Christ. So why am I bringing up the sponsorship stuff? This is why. Because if we can make such an impact in the community of our Tyler campus, why are the kids watching Frozen in the back of the room right now? Why? And again, I hate them right now. You know, they're my kids, obviously. But why would that even matter? Or I could spend it like this. Why wouldn't that matter? You know? On my resume. I update my resume every year. Even though I'm not interested in changing anything. I update it every year because I'm a very responsible guy. And on it, it says, I've been effective with middle school students. I've been effective with high school students. I've been effective with college students. I've been effective with young singles. I've not been effective. I don't say I've not been effective on my resume, but I basically make it clear that with young children, I need help. Always have. Kids love me, but that was never where I was skillfully educated. And I want to tell you what else our adolescents are dealing with. And I'm on point, guys. I'm not left my notes at all. I'm so pumped about where God's going to take this, because we're about to turn the corner. If you know the rest of the story, you know the rest of the story. But I'm weary in prayer, and I'm weary in my mind and my heart with people who tell me how gifted they are, or walk and talk as if they are so gifted, and they do not give every opportunity they have. I'm talking every opportunity they have, their best. When their Savior is looking right down on them, ready to be lifted up, ready to be glorified. I don't feel like being here today. I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like giving my best. These kids are crazy. Blah, blah, blah. With the right kids, in the right environment, in the right, I could be amazing. I'm not saying that about you. I'm saying it, and the reason why I see this, you hear me? The reason why I see this is because I'm looking at you because you live with me every day and you know You have to deal with this. I don't get let out of that tension by God. If I don't do my best in every environment, I can't sleep at night. My Savior gets my life. He saved me. I'm going to be with Him forever. I'm going to eat dinner again with my grandma, with my other grandmother, with my Aunt Yutha, my Aunt Anna May. I get to be with Him forever. And I get a mission again, like Adam had in the garden, where He's called to subdue the earth and name all the animals. I get to do that. I have a calling. And I don't need a title to do it. I don't need a stinking position to do it. I just need breath in my stinking lungs and people in front of me. I'm going to spit all over them on accident, not on purpose. Spitting's a sin. I was reading that in the Bible the other day. It is. It's considered a sin. And it's considered an incredibly disrespectful thing in certain world cultures, of which none of them have I visited yet. So, that's probably why I'm still alive. It's ridiculous. They used to troubleshoot with the dentist growing up. Dentists would be in awe. Like nurses would come in and be like, do I need 2 vacuums? Like it was ridiculous. Oh, that's the photo from that article. This is what the article reads. Soft, smooth, and steady. How Xanax has turned American music into pill pop. Just the opening lead paragraph, if you don't mind me reading. Drugs and music, music and drugs. Sometimes they go together, at least in the popular imagination. If jazz was haunted by heroin, and rock bloomed on acid, and disco darlings preened on cocaine, and ravers got touchy-feely on ecstasy. Lana Del Rey's recent single Love sounds like 2 milligrams of Xanax crushed into dust and set adrift on the Pacific breeze in your mind. Don't worry, baby, she sings repeatedly ballads, gentle send-off, her voice plunging low, enunciation going slack. It's the kind of song that levitates you out of your life and disappears. Listening to Love on Xanax might feel redundant, but in today's freak-out America, where relief seekers are swallowing opiates and benzodiazepines, I always start with that one, in record numbers, the connection between our sounds and our substances feels pervasive. Isn't that a great connection? Our sounds and our substances feels pervasive. When everyone seems to be on drugs, everyone's music sounds more and more like pill pop. This is not hating on drugs. I'm not tearing, I need to be very clear. I'm not tearing down drugs at all. But it's this recognition that at some point, what you put into you is going to come out of you, and what you want to be put into you, you're going to want to work with what else you're putting into you, and it becomes an ecosystem that you're living in, and you're going to begin to see the world from that ecosystem. And at some point, we have to ask the question, am I seeing the world clearly? Nor will we get mad at me later, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. When you first made a huge switch in your life, and the tears were coming readily, you constantly apologized for that. But for me, it's thrilling. It's thrilling. It's like I get no glasses, I get Nora. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome. Not that it is ever wrong. If a season with that kind of help has to be, but it's thrilling. Here's the hope. When the Lord saw her, He had compassion on her and said to her, do not weep. So first the Lord sees her. He sees her. And I think it's important not to rush. He just came to this town. Remember the scene? He's going in, they're all coming out, and he sees her. And he feels compassion for her. I don't think that means, well, she must not have had any secret sin in her life. I mean, it sucks that the community said she had secret sin, right? But what if she did? It still sucks that they said it. They shouldn't be publicly shamed. I don't think that's why Jesus has compassion for her. I think He just sees her dealing with death. His heart is breaking for her. He loves her and has compassion for her. I think He sees this culture around her coming out. And I'm sure Jesus had to think about this. Is it worship culture that defined the planet, or funeral culture? When the wages of sin and death, and death is everywhere in the world. The Savior's coming to destroy one thing, the thing that keeps us there, the thing that's held us in chains our entire lives. That's what the writer of Hebrews says in Hebrews 2:14. It's held us as slaves our entire lives. He wants to set us free from that. So I think when he sees the group, it's not that he gets angry in the group or ticked off, nothing like that. Sometimes we overread it. I think he sees her and sees compassion, and I think he sees this group and he just thinks this is absolutely everything. I'm just not. This is here and then, but now I'm here. Last thing, one more thing is that the Lord speaks to me. I'm sorry, I forgot to give the second one. The Lord has compassion. Seeing means that he sees exactly who she is, where she is. Compassion means he is driven to action. He wants to overwhelm her with love. He wants to care for her. And so he speaks to her. And he says, what we talked about last week, do not weep. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is among men. He will dwell among them. He shall be his people. God himself will be among them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there will no longer be any death. There will no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. First things are passed away. The next time you have a lazy, kind of sarcastic, wipe every tear. There's a TV show, quote now, wipe every tear. That's all people want to talk about with Jesus, is wipe every tear. What about the sin in their lives? I think that actually wiping every tear away was one of the driving things in Jesus' heart all the time. He hated sorrow. He hated that we had to deal with death at all. He wanted to erase that. And he did not say to her, do not sin. When she says to others, his message to her is, do not weep. Do not weep. What kind of jerk says it to somebody whose son is dead? Imagine if we walked into a funeral with that spirit. Hey, right? Lock it down, everybody. Do not weep. All right? I'm not trying to be funny, but it's a hilarious thought. Well, we went back to what does that mean? He gives us directions in Matthew 25 on how to deal with those who are hurting. I was hungry, you gave me food. Thirsty, you gave me drink. Stranger, you welcomed me. Naked, you clothed me. I was sick, you visited me. He says a little lower down, whatever you did for the least of these, my brothers, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. I want to show you a quick clip from a movie. If you were following me the last couple of weeks, I've been setting up with some Angela's Ashes quotes because I just reread that because I thought I'd be using that for illustrations for the next month and a half. And then I saw something better. So this weekend, I felt like I spoke a little bit better. This is The King of Cotway. This is Queen, Dreaming of Cotway, a movie. Anybody seen it? You seen it? Yeah? So it's a miracle that the movie exists. It's a miracle that it exists. It's based on an absolutely true story set in outside of Kampala, Uganda, where I ran my second half marathon with a team. I've been there, I run the streets. You remember me telling the stories about the kids that ate the sponges on the side of the road? I was like, why are they eating the sponges? Because they were hungry. They were hungry. They didn't have enough water. They were living in poverty. There's a young girl named Fiona who was one of these kids. She lived in a slum just like this. I'm going to show you a couple very short videos from the movie that kind of captured her biography.
Don't worry about it. That's what I thought.
The thing I love about chess is that it's a game where you engage. Young can play with old, girls can play with boys, kids look at them in the eye.
Checkmate, he won.
The ultimate goal of chess is to get to the king. And I think as it relates to life, the message would be never give up. In this film, you see these children transcend their circumstances through mentorship, encouragement, and belief. So just keep moving forward until you achieve your goal. Rated PG.
PG. So Fiona goes in and peeks through the window of a church facility and sees kids playing a game. It's actually not through the window, it's breaking the boards of the wall. They filmed the scene in the movie. It's exactly what happened in real life. And this young girl was seen. That was the actor who played her coach. He was seen. She was seen. And she was called in. She was welcome to be there. I got a little bit longer, it's about 3 minutes. A little bit longer video. We hear from her actual coach.
Located in the shadows of the Ugandan capital of Kampala, Katwe is, in all sense of the word, a slum. It's a place where refugees were shooed because no one else wanted to live there. The place is a literal sewer. Crime is rampant, as is drug use and prostitution. Half of all teenage women are mothers. They say if you're born in Katwe, you die in Katwe. It's not much better in neighboring areas. Uganda is under constant threat of civil war. At one point, 15% of the population had AIDS. The average person gets by on less than $1 a day.
Yeah, life in country is very challenging, I would say, because the people who actually live in country are people who have no choice. If they had a choice, they can't be in country, and it's the only area that they can afford to be. Sometimes it's hard even to explain how people live there.
Every day at 6 a.m., Robert Katende arrives here. A rundown structure that doesn't look too out of place here in Katwe. The building is called Agape Church, which is part of a U.S.-based ministry called Sports Outreach. Katende is the ministry director here.
I very much believe that, especially when it comes to the children and the youth, everyone loves to play, for sure. But many times people are not given opportunity, and some of these children always don't have a chance to even play because they are always struggling to survive.
As you can imagine, sports is heavy on the agenda here. The boys take quickly to soccer, and dozens of children show up every morning. Many of them don't go to school. Some are orphans. Few are homeless. All looking for guidance in their own way.
So when they come, the first thing is to try to show that you really care for them, you are there for them, you play together, you encourage. So eventually they get to bond with you, and then you're able to direct them to some other life they have never seen.
While soccer is popular, there are drawbacks. It can be fast, it can be violent. So not everyone joins in. Robert noticed that and started thinking of other ways to get everyone involved. Finally, he thought of a board game so foreign, there's not even a word for it in his native language.
Actually, it really disturbed me greatly. I battled with the idea for almost 3 weeks because I even tried other games before chess, but eventually I overcame this. That when I asked myself, what am I basically looking for? I'm looking for just a platform. Let me just get the board and introduce them to the new game.
There are over 280 billion different positions that are possible after only 4 moves. Robert was going to teach this game to a bunch of kids who didn't even know how to read.
Whatever you go through on that board, actually is what we go through in our daily life. It requires strategy, it requires abstractive thinking, it requires concentration, focus, time management, everything. Talk about any concept we need in our life.
And one day, while talking to slum kids about pawns and rooks and kings, Robert noticed something. A 9-year-old girl in a window.
The first day I just took her like any other child. In fact, when she came, my first question was, how will she feel at home?
To say Fiona Mutez was a 9-year-old might be a bit of a misnomer. The truth is, no one knows how old she was. We know that she was born in Katwe. We know her father died when she was about 3, possibly due to AIDS. And we know when she first appeared in the window, she had just walked several miles and was only looking for something to eat.
So that time I was very, very dirty, and I was always very, very about their chess program they always have. So that day I was able to learn chess and again even to get a medal.
Now, chess isn't an easy game to pick up. And when Fiona first started playing, she lost. A lot. But she still kept playing.
There was a boy who used to beat me every day. So one time I went to Coach Robert and he taught me how to defend that opening. So I went back to play this boy. When I played him, I happened to win him and he cried. From that day, that's when I said, I have to beat every boy.
So I hope you're tracking on. We're going to jump around a little bit. We're going to jump over the movie. And this is a 30-second clip where one of the most awesome things happens. This coach, being played now by the actor, addresses Fiona's mother, who is afraid for her daughter. She's a single mother. The father's not in the picture. She's got another daughter who's hooked up with the literal English word for it, and it's the word in Swahili who is shuka daddy. Somebody who offers money for you what and keeps you nearby until and so she is a good woman, Fiona's mother, and as a woman of God. And I mean, it's incredible. The movie's incredible. The spiritual narrative in the movie is very powerful, very, very authentic. And it's filmed in Kampala. It's incredible. But here's a scene where she has pulled Fiona out of the chess club because she's not certain of the intentions of the coach and of the positive impact of the chess club.
And to visit the finest school in the country.
Oh, how can I pay school fees?
No need for that now. Your children are very vital to you. Brian is full of determination, but your daughter, her intelligence is very high, perhaps the highest among all my children. This opportunity could be very valuable to her. Allow your children to come with us to King's College. And we find a way for them to enter school.
You speak no sense.
Let them come. And when we return, I will put them in private classes with the best teacher in Kampala. Now, please, madam.
I am allowing them. If you do not keep your promise, you will never see my children again. Would you?
Thanks, madam.
No, we are friends of me.
Now let me break this down to you. This is an incredible moment and so valuable. This guy, this coach, #1 in his graduating class at college. #1, full scholarship, brilliant. #1 in chess on almost every level, but not on the national level. All right? This guy is brilliant. Where is he at? You heard the opening line of the CBN documentary. He is in Kakwe, which is where the underdogs live who are in Uganda. In Kampala. Kampala is the underdog city of Uganda because it's urban poverty. Urban poverty is awful in Africa, right? This guy is standing in this wood pile and he is pleading with a woman who has 0 education. She's never been to secondary school. And think of what pride would do to a guy in the moment. Are you feeling me? Pride would say, why am I even talking to this woman? She's never going to understand what I have to say. She doesn't understand the greatness in her child. Why am I dealing with these people? I deserve better. I deserve this. I deserve that. That's when love has died. But what you see in the clip is love alive. You know what? She can say to me whatever she wants. She can strike me when she's not going to give me another. Why? Because whether she realizes it or not, I love her. I choose, through the power of the resurrected Christ, to love her and to love Fiona and to love Fiona's brother and to love this family and to see them step into wholeness. That is love. That's why back when I didn't have that extra class on counseling that I wanted, you know, did it cause me to hurt people? And maybe it did, but let me tell you what didn't. Love overcame my weakness. Love helped me find a way. When you love somebody, when the love of Jesus is in you, when you love somebody, you will do whatever you've got to do to serve them. All the obstacles, Johnny, all the limitations, all the time it takes. I know. But today we're celebrating a day where there's a whole bunch of right here moms in this room who love their children regardless of times, right? Implications, financial cost. The question I'm asking tonight is, That's natural for a mother with a daughter or a son. It's unnatural for a Savior walking into a city, seeing a widow who's never met before, and giving the same her. But Jesus is putting his super on our natural. And suddenly, God love can capture us. You know, I got pumped too in the church with agape. So I want to close with this last point. It's a big conversation Coach has with Fiona before she commits to being the youngest champion competitor ever in Ugandan history.
You could win at Ramishene. You could be the best in all Uganda. Do you know what that would mean for Katwe? Perhaps one day an international champion.
Coach, why are you shining me?
Me, I'm not shining. Only champions can see that revelation. What is preventing you from being a grandmaster?
I do not know about being a grandmaster.
Sometimes the place where mystery is not the place you belong. You can only believe you belong. What is that for you, Fiona?
You got it. There's that magic moment between the mentor and the child. When the child is spitting out the truth, sometimes with a smile. You can't always tell. It's not always like a Hallmark movie, right? Where the child sits down on the curb and gets sad. Sometimes it comes out of a joke. Sometimes it comes out of a sarcastic thing or a one-off text message. But when you get the truth and you know that's despair, I'm going to speak the love of Jesus right back into that line. Sometimes what you're used to is not where you belong. Where you belong. That's what I want our guys thinking about. And there are times, guys, when, and I'm just, why is he talking about this? Because I'm going to be relentless on this. I need you to unify with me and pray with me. Pray with me. That God will fill our love, our hearts with love for these guys. There are times when this guy's talking to me, when Jeremiah's talking to me, when Sydney's talking to me, when I have these answers. Not that Jeremiah's my son and all, but I spend a ton of time. I've got answers to the questions, right? But there are times I'm just thinking, gosh, others can answer this so much better than me. And I become very aware of how dynamic and powerful our church family is. When most of you probably are saying, I don't have the time for this, I don't have the interest for this, or the worst thing you're saying is, I needed that extra counseling class. I'm not educated for this, I'm not trained for this. It's love. It's love. Love that drives us, love that compels us. You can ask my wife, I'm holding back tonight. There's been some stuff. It's not been my favorite stuff that's happened. Things that don't inspire me, make me want to shoot for the mountaintops. You know, I want to create a space for our kids that dream about that. You know, our kids are amazing. I think right under our noses, we've got an opportunity because we have brilliant kids, all of them. And we have brilliant parents and adults. You know, and some of you guys are like kid whisperers. I would say about Terrence. Terrence is a kid whisperer, right? And he's talking, listening to me. I'm not going to talk out of his clothes. But everybody's got the things that sometimes keeps them. We all have those things. And watch what Jesus does here. I love this man. Then he came up, touched the beer. That's the platform with his dead son stretched out, and the bearer stood still. And he said, young man, I say to you, arise. And the dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Number one, when Jesus touches the thing that bears the dead, what happens? It stops, buddy. When Jesus touches the thing that bears the dead, it stops. I want you to think about the people in your life who are dead, the things in your life that are dead. Now I want you to think about what they're stretched out on right now. What is their beer? What is the thing that's got them frozen? And let me tell you, that's how to pray, man. You pray that Jesus touches that beer, because once it does, the whole thing's going to stop. And that includes the entire community around it and everybody carrying the thing that's killing your baby, your son, your brother, your sister, your aunt or uncle, whoever it is, adult, young, doesn't matter. Are you with me? Next thing. I've got a Professor X from the X-Men analogy here, but I'm skipping it. Here we go. All right, next thing. They no longer proceed to the grave. See, they stop, and it's not a moment in time. They're no longer going to go to the grave. Think about what that big old crowd leaving the city's going to do in just a moment. She paid. I know she paid that guy for the tomb. She didn't have the money. They're all going to turn around and go home. Dude that sold the tomb is going to have to figure out if he's going to make it re-up with the widow, some other deal or something. Jesus changes your destination. That person's 5 minutes from death. They're on the road to hell. I mean, I'm not trying to sound old school here. Hell is real, okay? This is an eternal separation from God, and whoever wants it is going to get it. And that's what our fight is what people want. I mean, that's why we have to be bold, because if you see people wanting separate, how do you hear about God? I see people coming from poor neighborhoods, becoming wealthy, getting social media cred, and what they're doing, and the sins that they're embracing, the same sins that have been crippling the rich for thousands of years. It's nothing new. And here you are in this room, this small on a Sunday night, fighting to keep your belief and your faith lined up on Jesus, right? That's why you're here. But Jesus changes their destinations. And second, last thing is, they no longer perpetuate the failures. They no longer perpetuate the failure. Young man, I say to you, arise. Now, there's a split moment when those guys who are holding the dead are no longer holding the dead. Think about that moment. Think about if you're holding that beer and you feel emotion up on top of it. Think about that, man. The whole thing shifts. Whoa. Can you imagine that Jesus changes everybody's function from burying the dead and now burying the resurrected? All right? Almost done. You guys are doing awesome. I can't skip this. Fear seized them all, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has arisen among us." God has visited his people. This report about him spread through the whole of Judea and all the surrounding country. This is my last point. That word arisen is the same word, young man, I say to you, arise. I think about that. Jesus says to this boy, rise from the dead, wake up. It also means wake up, I know, but it also means resurrect. Rise from the dead. And that's what people are saying God just did. We feel as a people, we are rising from the dead. Why? Because we saw somebody headed to the grave, turned, and flourishing. Now I want to make one last pitch for our precious little ones. When people in our lives see our kids turning from the grave and flourishing and loving life and loving to be alive, it will not just benefit them. And I hate that I even have to say that out loud, but because we're humans. My buddy for my creative writing program wrote, sometimes I just wish I was never selfish, but not today. That's what he wrote in his Facebook post. He's trying to be funny, right? It's in us to be selfish, is what he's saying. Even when we have ideas we don't want to be. You can spill yourself into somebody else, and in the end get nothing back. But that person could rise from the dead and change your entire family, your entire town, your entire culture. That's how we got to think. The global vision is activated in awareness. We care. We are willing to extend ourselves, right? But now, this extension is not money or prayer time. It's a little bit of action. You know, it's a little bit of action, a little bit of preparation. And I just want to thank you for listening to me tonight. Happy Mother's Day to all our awesome mothers. Just texted a little bit with Howard earlier, just about how some of you are mothering people that are not biologically your children. But you are mothering them, and you are loving them. And they are our mothers. You know, and I think that's very deep idea. One of the things I'm skipping, I edited it out about, I have 5 things of what it takes to be a mother. I just don't have the guts yet to make that argument. I need you to make that argument. One of these years.
5 things?
Yeah, you know, it's 5. My first thing is you have to want your kids. Sounds obvious, doesn't it? Let that sink in. Having a baby doesn't mean a mom. A mom wants her kids. A mom wants her kids. That's what I think Jesus sees in that widow. She wants that boy alive. She wants that boy back. And Jesus gives her and to her his mother. There's a moment of restoration there, where something that had been eternally broken is now eternally restored. You know, we've got to want spiritual kids in our lives, as well as our babies that God has blessed us with. There's a chance to give in the back, offering plates in the back. If you brought your tithes and your offerings, we'll encourage you to give. But I don't want to belabor that tonight. I do want to encourage you to give. And the reason why I'm repeating it is I really need to be better about that. I do feel like the Lord is speaking to me. With this giving explosion this last week, it crossed my mind that maybe I'm not talking about giving directly enough, or maybe we're not, because wow, what an explosion. What if our church is just trying, and you know, maybe not finances every week, but just giving in other ways, right? We need to think about that. So I do want to make sure I'm clear. Tonight I want to pray for our kids and our moms. Amen? Is that cool? Father, we just come before you, Lord. I beg you, God. I beg you, as Jesus taught me to in Luke chapter 10, verse 2, to raise up workers for your harvest. To raise up people who will say, I don't have the education, I don't have the time, I don't have the skills, I don't even have the love in my heart, but I want to love and make a difference in the lives of these quote-unquote kids that are set before me. We all know who those people are in our lives, God. We all have that clarity. And sometimes when the despair has risen up so powerfully in our lives, we become blind to it. But this story reminds us that you will raise the dead. You'll take the people who bear the dead to their graves and turn them in an instant into people who are bearing the resurrected children of the King. I love you, Lord. I love you so much. Thank you for what you've done in me. God, just translate. You know what words I need to be praying right now. Just translate these words. For your glory, we pray all these things. God, in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks, guys.